has been about finishing, and for these opportunities against teams like Florida State.
Petrino and the Cardinals 5-3 in each of their first 2 seasons in the ACC. So this game represents a huge breakthrough opportunity in the much stronger Atlantic Division. Jimbo Fisher's team opens as an underdog for the 3rd time in the last 66 games. Think about that. Louisville was an underdog coming in. The public have made them the favorite here. So Deondre Francois in his first true road start. Interesting how he handles this environment.
Yeah, there's been so much talk about Lamar Jackson this week, and after the first 2 weeks, you can make a very strong argument. He's probably the hottest player in the country, but this is the day. This is the game. You find out if he and his offense are ready, because the talent they're going up against is much, much better.
Louisville always gets the ball to start the game because their opponents almost always will defer, and Petrino always wants the ball to start. The Noles did win the toss. They deferred, and we're going to see Lamar Jackson, for whom it's been incredibly easy, Kirk, against Charlotte and Syracuse. He's averaging 10 or 11 yards per play in limited snaps and blowouts. That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
don't expect that today.
No, and Lamar Jackson is capable, but if you're Florida State and you look at those numbers, you know what it really is about? The defensive line affecting the line of scrimmage, beating Louisville's offensive line, or can Louisville's offensive line hold their own?
So, to kick it away, Logan Tyler, the true freshman for the Seminoles. Travion Samuel and Jaire Alexander are deep for the Cardinals in this hyped environment. And the lefty Tyler boots it through the end zone. And so a touchback, and we'll get a very quick look at this quarterback who comes from Boynton Beach, Florida, got his feet wet as a true freshman, excelled late in the year, and has been explosive in the first 2 games.
When he gets out in the open field, it's dangerous. Florida State has to be worried about his running ability. Big arm with accuracy. Wait till you see his ability to throw the ball downfield today, and that'll be big for Florida State. They've had some busts in coverage, broken coverages, and Louisville looking to exploit that this afternoon. Deep
shot for a touchdown on the very first play against Syracuse. Doesn't happen today as they hand it up to Brandon Radcliffe, and he's loose. Radcliffe into Florida State territory, so no deep shot, but still a big play to get things going.
You know, we haven't talked yet, but Derwin James, their best player, with a knee injury, out for the next 5 to 7 weeks. In the first play, his replacement, A.J. Westbrook, with a missed tackle near the line of scrimmage, gives Radcliffe room to run. You feel the loss of James on the first play.
There is no way to replace him. His vocal leadership and his versatility back there. 30-yard gain, and now Jackson in the pocket delivers a strike far side, and it's Quick making the catch, forced out. That's his favorite target.
It will be an interesting matchup with the skill and experience of the Louisville wide receivers going up against this secondary from Florida State. That's why I said if you're a Noles fan or a coach or a player, DeMarcus Walker and the rest of that defensive line, they have to really be aggressive and athletic and be a difference maker up front.
Two-back look and a handoff out of a slot. Samuel lowers the shoulder for a small guy who's 170 pounds. He delivers the blow to Marquez White and moves the chains.
And one of the ways you handle DeMarcus Walker is you zone read him. You just read him on the option. That's exactly what they did. You don't have to worry about blocking him. He stayed inside on the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, and it opened up for the handoff there to Samuel.
So a couple of first downs, and Jackson on play action steps up, throws far side, wide open. Jaylen Smith was running free, and he missed him.
Well, this is becoming somewhat of a familiar theme for Florida State, and this tempo is causing miscommunication, broken coverage in the back end. Remember, Derwin James is not back there. A couple guys were playing man, another guy's playing zone. They missed it, and very, very fortunate that Jackson missed a wide open receiver there in Jaylen Smith.
He's known for his accuracy, especially on deep balls. That was an uncharacteristic miss. So Jackson keeps it, play action, 2nd and 10, a high shot delivered, and Smith has it. Jaylen Smith bangs down, stays in the end zone, and they're going to knock him out short. They spot him just short. He thought he got in. Westbrook filling in for James there on the stop, but it's 1st and goal.
Great patience by Jackson. Nobody even close to Smith that time, and he's able to come up. I thought he steps out of bounds there for sure. But a great play call here. Bobby Petrino has this defense of Florida State right now on their heels and confused on this opening drive.
So 1st and goal. They've moved it 73 yards in 5 plays. Whistle before the snap. Another look. Smith was knocked out. Kept his feet. Excellent balance and strength, but the toe on the line.
He's a big man, 6'4", 210 pounds.
The offense was in the process of substituting. Did not allow the defense to match up. We'll replay the down. There is no foul. 2nd down.
Even if you run with tempo, if you make subs on offense, the defense has to be allowed to get their package in there. So it'll be spotted at the 2-yard line, 1st and goal.
And they're going to do that quick huddle where they break the line with different personnel grouping, try to create a little bit of confusion again. This is where the feet of Lamar Jackson can be very dangerous down in this area.
Radcliffe is the back. They like these 2 tight end looks. Keeper, Jackson, cuts back, scores! 3rd straight game, but against a much tougher opponent, the Cardinals offense strikes very quickly.
Exactly how you draw it up for Louisville and Bobby Petrino. 6 plays, 75 yards. Their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, with all the hype. Everybody wondered how would he maybe handle this exposure. And if the first drive's any indication, he's settled in quite nicely.
Evan O'Hara adds the extra point. They like to make horse racing analogies here. The Cardinals are like that horse that bolts out of the starting gate, takes the quick lead. They've won wire to childhood home a couple miles west of here has now been made into a museum. And the Ali family traveling back for this game. Layla, guest picker on your
Yeah, she did a great job.
She did pick Louisville, by the way.
Yep.
So Anthony George, the walk-on who just joined the team in preseason camp, kicks it away. And Kermit Whitfield's going to have a chance from the 5. Kermit kind of wiggles his way across to the 30 as the Noles got to answer this scoring drive.
Yeah, 6 plays, 75 yards, and they take control of things. A missed tackle right there, again, by Westbrook, who's in for Derwin James. That opened up this offense, got Florida State on their heels. Play action was beautiful, found some open receivers. A couple times Florida State busted some coverages. And look at this, he misreads 16 Pugh. But even after he misreads it on the zone read, he still makes a couple guys miss and overcomes that misread and gets into the end zone. Let's see what Francois can do now.
That stirs the crowd up even more now. So Francois, well protected, pump fakes, takes off. He showed his running ability against the Rebels, a pair of 31-yard runs in that opener.
And I think it's important for Francois to come into this game. And again, he's a freshman, a redshirt freshman. We saw him Labor Day night, did a good job of being tough, resiliency and toughness, and what Jimbo Fisher calls yard ball. Things aren't always going to be perfect for his quarterbacks. A guy's going to miss a block. A guy's going to run the wrong route. You have to be the eraser and fix those things when they break down.
Both QBs can play yard ball here today. Under pressure, delivers a strike to Izzo, and the tight end is rumbling up near midfield. It'll be a first down. They expect him to get very involved this season.
Yeah, he's a great receiver, former high school basketball player, and loved the call by Jimbo Fisher early in the game. Crowds into the game, defense on the field for the first time at home. They're flying around, little misdirection. Tight end slips out in the flat. Izzo, easy throw for his young quarterback.
He'll pick up 14 yards. Fake it to Cook. Deep drop for Francois, who's hit and sacked. James Hearns, the junior from Tallahassee, came off the edge.
Well, they have 2 great pass rushers on this team. They can get after him. He's standing right here. And because of the coverage downfield, he holds on to the football. He's got to be able to step up or get rid of the football before he takes this big hit. Hearns from one side today, 99, and Devontae Fields, 92 on the other. They can pressure the quarterback.
Great job by Francois not to fumble it.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You could see the ball coming loose.
Absolutely.
He took a huge shot.
Blindside shot as
well.
well.
For Hearns from Tallahassee, how'd that feel? Knocked the Noles quarterback down early. 2nd and 19. First carry for Dalvin Cook, who slips down. Cook has destroyed the Cardinals each of the last 2 years.
Yeah, and they feel that Florida State obviously wants to run with Dalvin Cook, take some of the pressure off of Francois. And Louisville, with their defensive coordinator, Todd Grantham, he understands that. Their goal every week, regardless of who they're playing, is to stop the run and then pressure the quarterback. But especially this week with a freshman quarterback, they want to get him to 3rd down, and they get very, very creative with their looks, try to create a lot of confusion for the quarterback and the offensive line.
Cook to the left of the formation on 3rd and 19. Screen. Tried to get it to Cook in traffic. It's incomplete. They were all over the running back there. And again, Hearns pressured.
Anticipating a screen or a draw, and your eyes are always locked in on number 4, Dalvin Cook, and that play never had a chance. Even if he caught that, there were 2 or 3 defenders ready to go, and Louisville just out of the gate here on both sides of the ball.
Jaire Alexander.
Tyler, the kickoff man, also does the punting, and Jaire Alexander, the deep man. Low kick by the lefty. Alexander watches it bounce out of bounds, and there's a flag down. There's a flag back near where the ball was punted. Jeff Flanagan heading this ACC crew.
During the kick, holding number 46 receiving team. During the kick, post-scrimmage kick enforcement, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So that'll back up, being ready to play. The visitors not so much so far, Kirk. You know, Florida State fans are thinking, here we go again. Another slow start. Kelly's defense gave up an opening touchdown to Ole Miss in 1:46, 75 yards. Louisville took 20 seconds longer than that, but again, they find themselves in a hole.
And it's just it's the body language. I'm always amazed how they look in the first half versus how they look in the second half. It's almost like watching 2 different teams. See if they can snap out of it before they wait till halftime to become that different team.
It began on the first play of the game. Radcliffe ripping off a big run. He's got it again this time. Picks his way up the middle and shows good strength for a 4-yard gain. To Samantha Ponder on the sidelines where it's now dry. Good news,
yes,
Samantha.
Thank God. Yes, Herbie, you were talking about that body language. There's no panic on this defensive bench sideline after that. I don't know if that's good or bad because they have kind of gotten used to starting slow. They aren't full strength on the back end. You talked about the safety out, but also on the defensive line. Josh Sweat dealing with a knee injury. Not full strength. He's out there, but very hesitant with that left knee.
So they're playing depleted in a couple of departments. Meanwhile, a downfield strike just over the head of Samuel, who came out of the slot and was covered by Marcus Lewis.
Kind of an interesting story, Sam, with Josh Sweat. He's a guy that they count on. He's a great pass rusher, and today they need him and DeMarcus Walker and Jacob Pugh to be great. Gets hurt on the last play of practice right on Thursday night.
Yeah, Herbie, and I talked to Charles Kelly about that, and he also said they're really excited about the freshman. Keep an eye on Brian Burns, who he said is going to get a lot of run today. He compared him to Peter Boulware.
On 3rd down, Jackson again fires incomplete. They're trying to work the slot receiver on the slant, but it's 3 and out.
He's trying to find the matchup, and so far they've been going towards Marcus Lewis, who is a sophomore. And again, Florida State moving a lot of people around. They are proud of the versatility of their secondary, and it is being challenged with that injury to Derwin James. Should mention Nate Andrews is back. He's a veteran, a guy who's played a lot of football. He's back to help them in the back end.
Bobo Wilson is deep. He took a punt back 89 yards for a touchdown against Charleston Southern last week. That was the first punt return TD for the Noles in about 4 years.
So after that scoring drive, they get a 3 and out.
Yep. Here's Mason King. Collects the high snap. He gets a boot away. Wilson at the 50, living dangerously, makes the catch, hit immediately down there. So the Noles will take over near midfield as Brendan Lowry flew down there and delivered the blow. Away next weekend, so a huge September for Stanford. Second possession for Francois and the Noles. Great field position at the 48, and they pitch it to Cook, who tries to get the edge and does, and scoots into Louisville territory. First down inside the 40.
This Florida State offense, I think, grew up the night you and I saw them on Monday night. And this was the play that really turned the game around. Young Deondre Francois got them, made this throw, scored before half, cut into that 21-point deficit. Linemen, I think, recognize, look at his toughness there. They learned a lot about him on that play, and it's carried over into last week and then today, and I think they trust him, which is very key with a new young quarterback.
Cook, after a 14-yard gain, gets it again, tries the left side for about 3. Dalvin was fresh legs 2 years ago, came off the bench, scored a couple crucial touchdowns against Louisville. And then last year, with a bad hammy, Kirk, he was maybe 75–80%, but they couldn't tackle him. Ran for $163 in that comeback win.
That's right. And people know that he's going to run the ball, so they've been geared up to stop him. So they've been throwing the ball to him a lot more. And last 2 plays, it's nice to see number 4 have a little bit of room to wiggle and pick up some yards on the ground.
He is overdue for a home run. Let's see if he gets one this afternoon. Give it to him again on second down. Cardinals close it down. A short gain that time as Josh Harvey Clemens, the senior, former Georgia Bulldog, was there. It'll be 3rd and about 4.
That was a great look before the snap at what Dalvin Cook sees on almost every snap on 1st and 2nd down. He's got 9 red helmets staring at him, expecting and anticipating him getting the football. That's why it's so hard for Florida State to run the ball. That's why they've relied on Francois and quick passing game and then go back to Cook. Because if he can run the ball, that sets up play action and takes a lot of pressure off of the quarterback.
Now the first 3rd down, they needed 19. Just 4 this time. Francois under pressure, incomplete. Again, he was trying to get the ball to Cook, and again, the pass rush was in his face.
Well, there's a lot of confusion because a lot of different movement, and they ended up bringing Hearns up the middle, and also watch these 2 linebackers, outside linebackers, Hearns and also Devontae Fields. They bring them late. See the right guard late in reacting and getting over. That's a true freshman, Landon Dickerson, confused by the look. Great job.
Field goal attempt, Kirk, coming up, and this is Ricky Aguayo, who broke a school record 6 for 6 against Ole Miss on opening night. Of course, Roberto's little brother. This is about a 50-yarder. This is about his range in warm-up. This would be the longest of his very young career. And it starts left and stays left. Had plenty of leg, but the Noles come up empty. So the first miss of Aguayo's career. Gave it a ride, but just never gave it a chance.
Yeah, I have to refer to Mike Black, who's the expert up here. He actually looked like he hit it pretty good. Black, you saying he came through too heavy?
He's the technician up here in our booth.
Exactly.
Former kicker at Boise State.
But he has been solid, 7 for 7 coming in to tonight. And as you said, he has plenty of leg at 50 yards. He just ended up pulling that a little bit to the left.
So Jackson back to work, option look, keeper shows the escapability, and they finally close him down after a 5-yard gain. Twitchy, as they say.
Yeah, but one thing he has to be careful of, because he is so capable, he doesn't need to look for the home run or the 10-yard or 20-yard or 30-yard carry every time. He starts bobbing and weaving like that against Florida State's defense, he's going to get blindsided, and that ball's going to go up in the air. He needs to take his 5 or 7 or 8 yards when he can get them and quit worrying about trying to make that big play against this defense. This isn't Syracuse.
It is not. That time Jackson knocked down by DeMarcus Walker, who penetrated a short gain. He's just such an instinctive home run guy, though. It's hard for him to just take his 4 or 5 yards, isn't it?
It is. It is, especially when you're averaging 10 yards a touch. I mean, and if you watch the game last week, I mean, every single time he had the ball, he's making 2 or 3 people miss, and it seemed like he's going 40 or 50 or 60 yards. This is a very, very different game against a different defense as far as the athletic ability he's facing, and he knows that.
Reggie Bonifant, the former quarterback, now receiver, is in the backfield. Jackson gets it to him, and he's wide open. A lot of space for Bonifant on the edge in the Noles territory. Knocked down inside the 40, and that formation seemed to confuse the Noles again.
Yeah, they stacked 2 receivers to the right. They actually brought a safety in Marcus Lewis, and nobody picked up Bonifant out to the flat on the right. I think the stacked look of the receivers confused the secondary, combined with the blitz from Marcus Lewis. Nobody left out in the flat. Great recognition by Lamar Jackson to find that weakness and dump it down.
He got 24 yards. Bonifant started 5 games at quarterback in 2014. Played a little bit there last year before losing the job. Now contributing on the edge. This is Radcliffe. getting the edge, and another good first down game before Trey Marshall forced him out.
Offensive line holding their own up there. I really wondered coming into this game how they would perform. They had 4 of the 5 back from a year ago, and I think that experience helps them. I think they have great confidence, and I think the continuity and the communication is very good with them. But that time they set the edge and gave Ratcliffe enough time to get around the corner.
Ratcliffe has it again, cuts it back in the open field, inside the 20. And the Cardinals are rolling, threatening in the red zone again. Terrific block by Cole Hicatini, the tight end.
Yeah, watch Hicatini. He's in motion and he comes back. Just follow him. Nice, slow developing play, good vision, cuts back. And actually, Ratcliffe set it up perfectly by going outside and giving Hicatini a chance to get leverage and just pushed him out. And then he cut back underneath that. It's a great run, and they're now back deep into the Knowles territory.
Jackson keeps it. Gets blocks on the edge. Jackson navigates in for his second touchdown. What a start for the Cardinals. Two possessions, 2 touchdowns, less than 5 minutes. It doesn't take much to get them going, right? One play can ignite a drive.
Absolutely.
And they get the tempo.
Well, and Brandon Ratcliffe getting yards is setting up the zone read game, because 23, the running back Ratcliffe, is catching the attention of the defense. So you're no longer just worried about Lamar Jackson. That time they ran a zone read, and DeMarcus Walker, 44, collapses down. You see him there? He's reading it. This is the read right here. He comes down. Now he's confused on a Thursday night 2 years ago, and they were able to fight their way back. They put themselves back in that position again. They're going to have to show poise, being down 14.
Whitfield takes George's kickoff at the 4. He's going to have opportunities today because the kickoffs don't typically reach the end zone, and he gets out across the 35-yard line. As we check in with Cassidy Hubbard for the studio update. Hey, Cassidy. Mighty Bison.
Wow.
Keep an eye on that one.
Better respect them when you show up to play.
So the Knowles, which had good field position last time and couldn't create anything with the missed field goal, take over now at their 38. Francois from the pocket finds Rudolph across the middle, and he's got room. Travis Rudolph slips as he cuts back, but gets to the Cardinal 45-yard line.
You've got a couple receivers off to the right here. You're going to see different moves and actually freeze up underneath. Linebacker gets lost with a different route combination. Good job of getting the ball out of his hands quickly. Another high percentage throw by Jimbo Fisher with Deondre Francois. And you get it to Rudolph, and he can make you pay for that with some yards after the catch.
21st consecutive game with a reception for Rudolph. Got 17 yards there. Now Cook cuts back. Boy, he is such an explosive jump cutter, isn't he? That's just rare ability.
And they go back into the boundary there with a couple pulls. The center is pulling, the left guard. Watch him follow them. He picks up a nice block. A little jump cut. He's, the great backs, the special backs in college, they have that ability to make that jump cut with the vision and not slow down. If anything, accelerate through it. And that's what Cook's able to do.
Deep in the eye on second down. Cook gets it again. Bounces it, lowers the head, and we'll have a first down at the 33 before Dejan Richardson stopped him.
Second time in a row. There's clearly Jimbo Fisher sees a matchup on that left side that he likes. His best lineman is the left tackle, Johnson, getting a pretty good push. And again, for Jimbo Fisher, if he can get Dalvin Cook going on the ground, it can really put a lot of pressure on this Louisville defense. Their eye discipline will be tested against the play action pass.
Francois straight back, fires incomplete. Pressured it. Bobo Wilson was the receiver, but that was Drew Bailey, the junior college transfer off the edge.
Yeah, they can get after the quarterback. This Louisville program, they've done a great job in recruiting pass rushers themselves. James Hearns, who you mentioned earlier, Chris, a junior out of Tallahassee. Devontae Fields, who was had a great start to his career at TCU, had some issues, obviously, ended up transferring. He's now in his last year here at Louisville. He can rush the quarterback. But as you saw, Drew Bailey, also Chris Williams, 44, can get up after it up front as well.
Thus the importance of establishing the running game with Cook to relieve that pass rush pressure. That time they're all over Dalvin. It's going to be 3rd and long.
They are attacking downhill in a hurry with their linebacker play. Safeties involved. It was amazing when you look at some of their stats in the early going of this season, and you look at who's leading them in tackles. It's all the linebackers and the safeties. They're very, very active in the run game, and the defensive line's job on running plays is just occupy those offensive linemen, eat up as much space as you can to free those linebackers up.
If they don't gain yards, it'd be another 50-yard potential attempt. Can't afford a sack to stay in field goal range. And Francois escapes a short gain to the 30. So Fisher could take another shot if he wants to with Aguayo. A sack would have been disastrous.
Yeah, how about Josh Harvey Clemens coming on a very delayed blitz? He waited to the last possible second. He sneaks through. He waited just in time. Everybody is picked up. That's what actually freed up the rest of the defense there to be able to get that pressure.
If they'd sacked him there, Kirk, it would have been a 57-yarder. As it is, Aguayo trots back out for 47 yards. This would be the longest he's made. Had the distance the last time from 50 and knocks it straight through. So the Noles stop the bleeding a bit.
And I asked him, from being from the state of Florida, does he know a lot of these guys? And he said he knows a few of them from playing against him. But when he's just hyped, I think, to lead his team in a big game. They go trips to the right, actually motioning out of it now.
Jackson rolling. The flag comes down. He eludes a tackler and flips it off for a short gain.
DeMarcus Walker grabbed Samuel, the receiver, around the neck.
It's the man who made the catch, so defensive holding is the call.
Yeah.
DeMarcus has about 110 pounds on Travion, but Travion's a quick guy.
Watch him, and these defensive ends, he's at the bottom to the far left. He comes down, he's used to being read on the zone read. He just grabs him around the neck.
Holding. Defense number 44. 10-yard penalty. First down.
He's got the ball. That's a good move. But
yeah. And DeMarcus Walker and these defensive ends against this scheme with a 2 tight end look and as much motioning and different things that they do, they really attack the defensive ends. And by attacking them, you don't always have to block them because of Lamar Jackson and the quarterback run game and the zone read game.
First penalty of the game. Sets up Louisville at the 35. Handoff inside and a short gain. Ratcliffe's one of those guys from Miami. There are 19 players in the Louisville roster, including 11 starters in the state of Florida. So extra juiced up today against the Noles, no doubt.
If you're Louisville and you're Lamar Jackson, you're thinking, okay, up 14-3, it sounds good. But we've been here before playing the Noles, and we know what the second half is about. They want to keep their foot on the accelerator as much as they can.
Quarterback keeper shows the acceleration. Jackson in the secondary. Lowers his head. Huge gain down inside the 30. That's why he is the premier dual threat quarterback in the country right now.
You have to be very careful of overrunning him. Great block by Hunter, but right here, the flow of the defense is what allows him to cut back. He's reading that. Then he cuts back. It's a good block by Hunter, and then he's just a natural runner in the open field.
How quickly did he cover 33 yards? Final 20 seconds of the first quarter. Cardinals threatening again. Jackson flips it to Ratcliffe in the flat. He's got some space. Stays inbounds, knocked down inside the 20 by Tavares McFadden. But the Cardinals, who started the game fast, finished the first quarter strongly, threatening to add to an 11-point lead in what would be a
30-minute game. It's a 4-quarter game, but they are looking exactly the way they looked in these first 2 weeks and threatening to put more on the board.
Radcliffe wrestled down very quickly by Wally Aim, who made the stop. May shed a blocker One of the guys they rotate into the interior of the line.
That was a great play, and I thought we would see more of that. If Florida State was going to play good on defense, their defensive line had to be a difference. I mean, Louisville tried a double team there in the middle, and he just did a good job of splitting it.
We're going to come across and measure this, but again, the absence of Derwin James, the sophomore who's so versatile and such a vocal leader, and Josh Sweat, the pass rusher, who was a game time decision, being sorely felt so far. Here's a first down.
Yeah, they got a first down, but this is something that Florida State has to do. Watch him, 94 right here on the edge. Watch how he goes in. They double team him. He throws them both aside, and he makes the play. I mean, that's what Florida State has to do to stay in this game and to eventually get Lamar Jackson and put pressure on him and be able to get him into those third down situations. Looking over, he's seeing some man-to-man coverage. Bobby Petrino helping him adjust.
Fake it to Radcliffe. Jackson traps and cannot escape. Sacked for the first time by Jacob Pugh, who got in there. Jackson not often sacked because he's so elusive.
This good job by Pugh, but it was really a good job. He's right here. He doesn't bite at all on the fake. But watch the defense as a whole. They've got this guy covered, Marshall dropping, and it leaves him with a chance to be able to make a play. You see Trey Marshall sinking in coverage that took away that threat across the middle. That was a very well designed play by the defense.
Jackson again flushed, chased, and just throws it away. A flag is down in the pit. As again, the Noles got after him. Matthew Thomas pressured him from the linebacker position. I figure it's going to be a holding. It's in that area.
Yeah, it sure is.
Personal foul. Continuous hands to the face. Number 72 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
You got McNeil, the right tackle. Not a hold, a hands to the face, but also a very damaging penalty. He'll be pushed way back.
Great pressure that time. Florida State deciding, Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator, deciding to bring Thomas, and they felt coming in this week, he told me that Matthew Thomas is as fast as any linebacker he's been around, and if they ever spy Jackson in obvious passing situations, they're very confident that Thomas has the speed to be able to bring him down. That's something to watch throughout the game.
The series began in the red zone. Now it's back to the 41, second and 34. Jackson incomplete, tried to go sidelines over the head of Jamari Staples. It'll be third and a mile.
Great play by Pugh started this on first down. Second down, you had the penalty along with another pressure by Florida State and putting them in second down and forever. And then they're able to sit back and just play with cover two, making it very tough for Jackson to find anybody to throw the ball to downfield.
Hard to find a good play call on third and 34. They can try to pick up some of the yardage, get closer to field goal range for Evan O'Hara. And they hand it off straight ahead, and that's barreling forward Jaire Smith, who does get down to the 30 before Pugh knocked him down. So this would be about a 48-yard field goal try.
Figured either quarterback draw or a handoff or a quick screen. As you said, Chris, just try to get as many yards back as they can and give them a shot here at 3 points.
O'Hara is a sophomore walk-on, never kicked in a game before this year. This is right about the range that we had him in pregame. Around a 48-yard attempt. Slight breeze at his back. And it's going to bounce off the upright, no good. Had plenty of leg, couldn't quite thread it through. So the sack and the penalty spoils the 1-0 lead over Appalachian State. Some figure that might be a serious test for Miami. Jaquez Patrick is in the game. Francois is flushed, has plenty of space, and rolls for a first down, slides down at the 45. Samantha?
Yeah, Chris, keep an eye on defensive end Drew Bailey during this series. During that last drive, he spent most of the time with athletic trainers, got both hands taped up, but specifically that left hand, 2 fingers taped together, having a hard time with leverage.
Meanwhile, Knowles are playing fast, and Patrick in the clear. Jacquez Patrick cuts it back. Big fella rumbling down inside the 20. A saving tackle by Stacy Thomas, but Cook's backup makes a huge play.
Well, that is a great job of making the safety Chucky Williams miss. And for as big as he is, 230 pounds, watch 22. He's got a chance to make a play, completely whiffs on him, and then the cutback right there to pick up more yards. Heck of a play there by Patrick.
41 yards for the 230-pounder. Now Dalvin's back in the game. Cook cuts it back. A flag goes down. He's stopped for a 3-yard gain.
Personal foul. Shot block. Number 15 and 88 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, Rudolph and Navin Saunders, the tight end, combining on the chop block.
You cannot engage with a defender and then submarine him at the same time. That is officials all over that with Travis Rudolph and the tight end Saunders.
One theme, Kirk, penalties continue to really plague this Florida State team. That's a costly one. Backs them all the way up 15 yards to the 30-yard line now. 1st and 25. Francois pressure, delivers far side, and the catch is made by Bobo Wilson. Gets back to the 22. Francois now 3 of 6 for just 38 yards.
Yeah, and a lot of the throws, he's just the throws at this point in the game with the momentum and the crowd being on the road, a lot of quick throws. And it kind of minimizes what Jimbo Fisher will call. Now as the game progresses, they'll have more opportunities downfield.
2nd and 17. Cardinals bring pressure, but Cook tests the left side. Very short gain, and now a 3rd and 15 coming up.
How about that push up front from that defensive line? Linebackers, as I said, when number 4 gets the ball, they're already right up there at the line of scrimmage too. And talked about that penalty, the momentum that was created there by Patrick's run, and then almost negated by the penalty there on the chop block. Took away not only yards but momentum.
Here's big D'Angelo Brown, the nose tackle, waving a finger in the air after that stop. He's the guy with the mean look out there. Empty backfield on 3rd and 15. Crowd making it tough. Just get the snap away. Francois fires. Slant. Touchdown. Auden Tate with his first career touchdown catch. The big target in that receiving core.
Well, they do a great job of picking up Fields on the blitz here by Johnson, and then they're just going to go vertical, and they just have one too many out there. The safety's occupied by 15, Rudolph over the middle, and he has to put that ball right on a line, just like that. How about the throw by Deondre Francois? Great recognition of the open man in Tate. With Rudolph in the middle to occupy the safety, he makes a heck of a read and a great throw.
Tate at 6'5" is that big target they've been seeking. They have a bunch of fast guys but smallish receivers, and they want Tate, as he gains understanding of the offense, to be a big weapon in the red zone.
Watch the left tackle, goes to the outside, does a good job, picks up the blitz, quick recognition of the open man, and puts it on a line where only his man can make a play.
The penalty in the 1st and 25 to get into the end zone. Tyler, kicking into that 15-mile-per-hour wind, cannot reach the end zone. Samuel's knocked down short. Kirk, today's Affleck trivia question, excluding the conference championship game, when was the last ACC top 10 matchup that did not feature Florida State? Because so many of them have.
It's got to be Virginia Tech and somebody, right? Maybe a
I have an idea.
Virginia Tech Clemson, maybe?
I got an idea. Was it Lane Stadium against Matty Ice on a Thursday night?
Could have been.
Jackson keeps it. Explodes around the edge. Such a gifted ball handler. Fools defenses so often.
And this is what makes it so tough on the Marcus Walker zone read. Again, he collapses down, makes it very easy for the quarterback. Watch the blocks at that second level and the linebackers and safeties. And he has such acceleration when he puts his foot in the ground and makes a decision. Great read again and putting constant pressure on the most talented Noles defender, DeMarcus Walker.
Legit 4-4 Jackson, right?
Yep.
Ends it off this time. This is Bonifan, former quarterback, who tries to contribute in a variety of ways. And Nate Andrews, the veteran, on the stop.
Nice to see Nate Andrews back. He didn't play in the first couple games. A guy that goes all the way back to their national championship team in 13. Veteran, 4-year guy. And with Derwin James down, Nate Andrews' experience, the calls that he can make, trying to make sure everybody's on the same page, invaluable. And he's kind of a guy that can move around too. He's at a linebacker position right now. They'll bounce him around a lot of different spots.
Jackson on second down, loops it downfield and over the head of Bonifan, covered by, well, covered there was Staples, excuse me, the receiver. Andrews, one of the few Noles who played in that national championship game, not just on the team, but he played a part.
Yeah,
in Auburn that
he
night.
and DeMarcus Walker both guys that have played a lot of football, and I think, you know, he had a calf injury that held him out of camp. He's not in the best shape because he didn't get to practice a lot in camp, but just his knowledge, he's practiced all week. Just his knowledge is important for them to have him out there against this offense.
Cardinals need 5 on this third down. Now with just a 4-point lead and a strike thrown. Quick shakes a tackle. And James Quick ducks down inside the 30. The senior from here in Louisville. Highest star rating of any recruit ever in this program.
How about the poise from Lamar Jackson on third down, comfortably sitting in the pocket and throws an absolute laser. The 2 slants underneath occupied the underneath coverage and opened up the back end throw. No pressure at all. He just sits in there, holds his ground, and throws it right on the money.
Radcliffe making more tackles, showing his strength. He's lost 10 pounds to get a little bit quicker this year, but still a strong runner.
Guy out of Miami of Florida, the captain of the team, one of the hardest working players on this football team, helped set the tone.
Took a step back last year, had better stats his sophomore year, but sets himself up, reclaimed the starter's role. As you said, he's a 2-year captain, and off to a good start. 72 yards rushing already, more than 10 yards a carry. Quarterback keeps it this time. Jackson just so slippery, darts down near the 11. It's another first down.
He actually misread this and then made the guy who he misread again miss on the tackle, just like the touchdown. Watch 16 Pugh. He's making, this is his read right here. Watch this. He doesn't come down. He stays out of the quarterback, and he still makes him miss and picks up the first down.
He's made hundreds of guys miss over the years and going to make hundreds more before he's done. Look at the ball fake there. Jackson rolling out, gets a block on the edge and leaps out of bounds at the 2-yard line. And that was Hicatini kind of riding his man as an escort on the edge over there.
Yeah, Hicatini's like, just follow me. Just follow me. I got this linebacker. Just keep coming with me. Looks like we got a Nole player down. It's actually Thomas who was with Hicatini. He's their fastest defender and has such a big role today.
We see Kirk Jackson show such suddenness, such quickness, but then when he's in the open field, long legs, he just glides, doesn't he? Gobbles up turf.
Absolutely. Watch this block at the end. See if it's, there he is right there, a little kind of a cut block. Thomas got caught up there.
He shows the quickness. This became a viral sensation, just jumping over a Syracuse defender. Whoop. He did the same thing in high school, and that's why he was a kind of a YouTube sensation at Boynton Beach High. To do it in college is different, though.
Remember, again, he's going to run the ball down in this area. You know it's coming, and you still can't stop it.
Hand it off. Radcliffe bounces it, and he's knocked out of bounds. Pugh did a good job pursuing that time. No gain. It'll be third down.
That's a win for Florida State. They'd love to see the ball in the hands of 23 down here and not 8. They tried to use Jackson as a decoy, pulling the tight end, Hicatini, to make the defense think that they would run him, and tried to sneak Radcliffe back the other way, but the Noles defense able to sniff that out.
Big play here. Can the Seminole defense create a stand, make this still a 1-possession game?
They still can get that first down. They don't have to score here on third down.
Barreling straight ahead is Jaire Smith. Touchdown, Louisville. With the focus on the quarterback, they feed the junior tailback and stretch the lead again.
It's a heck of a block by the fullback. Atkins leads the way here. Watch that collision right there. He just pushes Patty, the linebacker, back. And then that great effort by Smith with the help of the offensive line. Of course, that's no longer a penalty. If you have a back that's working like that, they can push him from behind into the end zone.
Smith, a 225-pounder junior college guy out of California, is DeMarcus Christmas, the defensive tackle, is being looked at. Injuries beginning to accumulate. Some key guys in this Noles defense early in the season. In the meantime, Louisville answers the Florida State answer, and a PAT away from building back an 11-point lead. Christmas is going to hobble off. So another impressive drive, Kirk. That one was slow by their standards. 3:16, covering 79 yards in 9 plays.
A nice balance so far today, too. I mean, you think about Jackson, what he did last week, throwing the football against Syracuse, but today in this first half, they're almost already up to 200 yards rushing, 177. Been doing a lot of damage on the ground today.
O'Hara knocks it through. And Louisville, as the sun shines brightly, back up 21-10.
You called the game.
A long time ago.
Jeff Jagged.
Oh, Jag. Coach Jag.
Yeah,
that's right.
Coach Jags.
This, what, 8 years ago, 9 years ago?
Jagosinski.
Samantha, there's a flag down. Kick one out of bounds.
Bogey spotted at the 35-yard line. First down.
Chris, the Florida State coaches told us that Deondre Francois wasn't much of a vocal leader yet. I just saw that change before my eyes. He didn't even sit down that entire drive, getting in the faces of his teammates, saying, remember the Ole Miss game? Our D is going to step up. They're going to stop them. But until then, we got to score every time, taking a lot of the responsibility on himself. But he was fired up that entire drive.
Sammy, I love to hear that because it's not just the Ole Miss game. It's kind of become a theme for Florida State over the last 3 years, and Francois knows that.
Taking on the Jameis Winston role. Cook, fumble. Bad exchange. Louisville's got it. Jaire Alexander came off the corner. And so much for the pep talk. The Cardinals are in business.
Yeah, and this is actually the blitz is from Alexander. He's able to pounce on the ball, but this is just a mistake by the quarterback and Dalvin Cook. Just the ball handling. Dalvin Cook's coming through for a fake, and I don't know if Francois put it in there. It hits the elbow. He's looking to his right and not looking to put the ball into the stomach of Dalvin Cook.
They've had some problems this year with that.
Yeah.
Remember, his very first college play involved a fumble, a turnover recovered by Ole Miss.
So a miscue in the backfield, and the blitz happened to be perfect timing for Louisville with Alexander there coming in on that blitz. He was able to get on the football.
First turnover of the game sets the Cardinals up just outside the red zone. Jackson from the pocket flips it short. Quick, trying to get some space. Slips away, gets inside the 20 before Thomas grabbed him.
See, this is where Bobby Petrino will take advantage of an opportunity. Jimbo Fisher trying to go over the ball handling there and the mistake, but Bobby Petrino senses he's got a Florida State team, not just a defense, a team right now on the heels, and he can go into attack mode and take some chances. Up 11 here at the 7-minute mark before the first half.
Whistle before the snap. And a false start coming up on the Cardinals.
False start. Offense. Number 17. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So often this Florida State team has been able to rally from behind. Fisher has 8 comeback wins when they've been down 14 or more points. That's a lot, but he hates that. He hates that stat because it means his teams are frequently falling behind by a couple touchdowns.
He hates that stat, but he appreciates that they have that ability to make those adjustments at halftime and come back. But for whatever reason, they have a tendency to show up and not be a team that plays with that edge that you most often see in the second half.
2nd and 11 after the penalty. 2 in the play clock. Got to hurry. Just gets it off. And now Jackson takes off. Follows a blocker. Weaves into the secondary and darts down at the 11-yard line. It'll be first down Louisville. So tough to stop.
Well, he's so slippery, and he has such quickness and such natural ability. Looks like he played a lot of backyard football. You know, a guy that just, when he gets the ball in his hands, he has such a comfort in being able to make people miss and slip through different defenders. They can't even get a hand on him, let alone tackle him.
You got that Ali sticker on the helmet with the butterfly. Radcliffe knocked down. They are floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee so far, this Louisville team. Radcliffe, a physical complement to the quick quarterback.
Yeah, Radcliffe is stinging like a bee, and Lamar Jackson is floating like a butterfly right now. They're a great combination in that backfield.
Threatening to make this an 18-point lead with halftime approaching. Steps left, darts right, and is dragged down inside the 5. That was Roderick Hoskins making a nice tackle on the quarterback. It'll be third down.
Actually, a really good play there by Hoskins to prevent the touchdown. I thought Jackson may pitch that as Hoskins was coming in. It's a big third down here for this Florida State defense to try to keep the Cardinals out of the end zone.
They get set quickly and then quickly back off and look, and now they'll call a timeout as Petrino wants to confer with the quarterback on this crucial third down and 3 play. So the Noles defense trying to make a stand as the Cardinals try to stretch.
Can you get these guys back into the huddle?
Big fellas in red are feeling it. 3rd and 3. Huge play here. And Jackson from the pocket flips it over the middle. Wide open for a touchdown is Jaylen Smith. As the Seminoles lost the receiver in traffic. And Jackson with a touchdown pass to go with his 2 touchdown runs. Nice ball play by Petrino after the timeout.
Taking advantage of an opportunity there.
Smith, the sophomore from Pascagoula, Mississippi. First touchdown of the season.
Let's go back to how that drive was set up. Deondre Francois' eyes aren't even on Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook runs into him. Ball's on the ground. It's picked up by the blitzing corner, Alexander. Jimbo Fisher trying to calm down his quarterback. What are you doing here now? Let's go. We got to make adjustments. We got to come back. You go back to the touchdown. Miscommunication again by the corner here. McFadden, watch what he does here in coverage. It's a pretty simple route, but you have 2 Florida State defenders picking up one guy, and he gets underneath. Nobody picks him up. Another miscommunication between the secondary, the back end between a corner and a safety. Nobody picked up the receiver underneath. Easy read and an easy touchdown there for Jaylen Smith.
Defense probably thinking quarterback run down there in 3rd and short, and they cross him up.
Yeah, and the secondary right now, they really have been impacted with their eyes. They're getting confused with some of the different formations, some of the different ways that Bobby Petrino right now is attacking them.
All right, Kirk, now the Noles have 5:03 before halftime, so the obvious comparison is the game in Orlando against Ole Miss when they were down 28-6, and the key to their comeback was a touchdown drive late in the first half. Can Francois calm down and create a spark here again?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Jimbo Fisher is trying to make sure his young quarterback is ready to do. It reminds us also of the game 2 years ago between these 2 teams.
Whitfield at the goal line, knocked down short of the 20.
You talked about the Ole Miss game, but go back 2 years ago, right?
Oh, absolutely. This was Jameis Winston, who had a terrible game, threw 3 picks. Remember, ran down the field and punched the ball out of the defender's hands after making an interception, and then the comeback, the furious comeback.
Well, they made a play right before the half to cut into the lead, create some momentum, and then pulled away in the second half. And that's what you just said about Deondre Francois. After the fumble, 5 minutes to go here till half. They need points here to be able to get themselves to buy in and believe that they can do it yet again in the second half.
Flip to Cook. Good pursuit. He's knocked down. I thought Samantha's report was interesting about Francois being animated, being energized, trying to fire his team up. That's not really his natural personality. So you wonder about that. The next play goes out in the fumble.
Yeah, from what we've seen of him in his early part of his career, 3 games in, he doesn't seem to be that kind of guy. She said he was almost to a point where he was too amped up, and then comes back out, and next play, the ball's on the ground.
And 2nd and 8. Completion delivered. It's a first down across the 30. It's Nyquan Murray.
Should mention that all these Florida State comebacks, there's a reason why that happens. And it's adjustments from Jimbo Fisher, but it's the players, and they don't panic. Right now, it'd be easy to panic on the road, down 18. Oh my gosh, game slipping away from us. These Florida State teams, they do not panic.
Cook gets the edge, knocked down near the 40 by James Hearns.
The reason that's important is when you don't panic, it allows you to just simply execute, just work it one drive at a time. And that's the one common theme all these comebacks from Florida State have is their attitude. They don't try to force a play or try to create a play. They just kind of continue to let the game come to them. And I think that poise, along with the adjustments from Jimbo Fisher, the reasons they're able to do it so often.
Cook. Not much. Kelsey was there. It'll be 3rd down. You're exactly right. After halftime, Fisher's so good at spotting mismatches and weaknesses.
Absolutely, Chris. Here's Kelsey. Watch the defensive line eat up the blocks. That's what their job is, eat up the blocks. Look how he just comes in and lowers his shoulder into Dalvin Cook. He's from Gainesville, Florida. Dad was a Gator. He knows about big-time games against the Noles.
All ACC linebacker a year ago. Noles need a yard to keep the drive going. Sneak. And he's got the first down.
We're talking a lot here about the Noles and their ability to come back. You don't think Louisville knows about that? Louisville's defense, Todd Grantham, they are all about, hey, we've been here before. Do not let them score before the half. Do not give them life.
Easier said than done. What was the word on all those T-shirts worn by the defensive players? Finish. Been hard to finish off the Florida State team in recent years. Francois fires into traffic, broken up. Shaq Wiggins, the corner, got a hand in and knocked it loose. Risky throw.
Yeah, Shaq Wiggins, a transfer from Georgia. I asked Lamar Jackson, who's the best cover corner on the Louisville team? He said, he pointed to number 6. He said Shaq Wiggins, our best cover guy.
And loudest cover guy.
Yeah, right away he's going to let the Noles sideline know all about it.
Game.
What adds even more to this is the Noles get the ball to start the second half, just like they did Monday night against Ole Miss.
They have 2:18 and all 3 timeouts to work with before the break. Brown trying to make it tough. Francois from the pocket now breaks down and is dropped for a short loss at the 40. D'Angelo Brown comes out with the football, but it's no fumble. Big man in the middle making a push.
They're able to get pressure with 4, and a big reason for that is a great coverage. The Noles had nowhere to go with the ball. Receiver right here, another receiver right here. Watch them take everybody away. And Francois, looking to try to get the ball off to his right, has to bail on it because of the coverage downfield.
So they need 12 on this big 3rd down play. 5 receiver look. A stop here, and the Cardinals can get the ball back.
He's got one-on-one at the top. He's got to look to his left here.
Instead, he's flushed immediately and sacked. Devontae Fields trying to make a big push in his senior year with all the scouts watching today. Got to the quarterback.
With a blitz from the inside by Keith Kelsey right here, brings the right tackle Leonard down, and it frees up a great pass rusher for Louisville. Nobody there to pick up Devontae Fields, but it was the blitz on the inside from Kelsey that brought the tackle down. Nobody in the backfield, no running backs. Made a clear path that time for Devontae Fields.
And now with a 4th and 24, Cardinals spend the timeout to get the ball back, trying to add to an 18-point lead. And that was not what Jimbo Fisher and the Noles expected. You almost thought, they've been in this situation so many times, Kirk, they're going to find a way to get points and take momentum. Just didn't happen.
No, they did. I mean, they had an opportunity there, moving the sticks there a little bit. Now it's 28-10, minute 27 to go. Now you wonder if you're Bobby Petrino. He remembers 2 years ago, 18 points isn't enough in his mind. And with a quarterback and how quickly they can move the ball, you're thinking about, let's see what we do with this punt return. Let's put the ball in the hands of number 8 and let's let it fly.
See what kind of field possession they get after the punt from Tyler. It's a low boot. It's going to bounce at the 43 and work out pretty well as it goes dead inside the 30-yard line. So a minute 17 to go for Louisville, and now 1 timeout to work with. Monday Night Football featuring the Eagles. Carson Wentz, the rookie there, against Jay Cutler and the Bears at Soldier Field. 6 o'clock coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown. Then the Eagles and Bears. Buddy Sean McDonough and John Gruden off to a great start.
About Wentz in his first game, giving that Eagles offense some life.
You're watching the Bison on game day back last few. Do you think you're looking at a great NFL quarterback? Think on that. As Jackson does take a shot, complete. Quick's got it out to the 45-yard line, and now the Cardinals are in business. They can get the tempo going.
Yeah, they have 1 timeout left. As I said, you got a quarterback playing with as much confidence, as much big playability as Lamar Jackson. You get this ball back, 18 isn't enough. You want to keep trying to move down the field, at least get in field goal range.
From the pocket again, delivers a strike, and this is Picatinny, has been an effective blocker in the first half, takes it into Noles territory.
And you're looking right now at the area Lamar Jackson has improved the most from where he was a year ago, where he admitted to us sometimes I wouldn't even know what down it was. The game was moving so fast, but through repetition and experience and making good plays and really dedicating himself to the pass game, he's a different guy.
On 2nd and 1, delivers from the pocket. Ball caught! Somehow it gets through traffic, and Quick is off and running, knocked out inside the 5. Somehow that ball got through a diving attempt to pick it, and Quick says thank you very much.
McFadden is right there. He actually tips the ball up into the arms.
Caught it between the knees.
He uses his left arm, a shoulder, and his 2 legs. Lee Corso's right there. Watch McFadden. He's in great position. He jumps on the route, uses the knees into the end zone.
Trying to get in the end zone again as Jackson is going to be dragged down for a loss at the 5-yard line. And all of a sudden, Kirk, instead of cutting into the lead, the Noles could find themselves down even more.
Now there isn't the same urgency. You got to be careful of working this clock too much, but Jackson a threat, obviously, to run the football. This is where he really can do some damage.
Inside of 25 seconds, Jackson again from the pocket as All Day delivers a strike. Quick reaches for the end zone. He's short at the 1-yard line.
They're going to use their last timeout.
Quick is still down on the field. He's going to hobble off. Hoskins grabbed him to save the touchdown. It'll be 3rd down.
Does a good job of leading him on this crossing route. Hoskins, the linebacker, 18, sees him, and because he put the ball out in front, he's able to catch it and try to at least reach for that goal line.
It's a tough matchup, Kirk, for a 240-pound inside linebacker.
No doubt.
On the receiver. Good job to prevent the touchdown, and the Cardinals now spending the final timeout. 16 seconds to go. If they don't get in the end zone, got to have the field goal team ready very quickly. It'd be 4th down, so you can't spike it, obviously. It's a little bit risky if the play takes some time and they don't score and get stopped in bounds.
Yeah, I mean, with 3rd and goal and with Lamar Jackson, you put him on the corner, gives him a chance to either run it in or look for an open receiver or throw it away to stop the clock.
Louisville trying to build a 25-point halftime lead. And Jackson just building on the sensational start to this season against by far the toughest defense he's seen. Quick, by the way, 6 catches, already 103 yards. And Jackson has completed his last 7 since a 4-for-9 start. Jeremy Smith is the back.
They're making adjustments, looking back, seeing man-to-man. This is where you roll him. Jimbo Fisher coming in at the top. He's all the way down to the 10-yard line.
Defensive timeout.
Florida State. First charge. Timeout.
A good chess match again down here on the goal line.
And Noles have all 3 timeouts, so kind of like in basketball, where you get a good look at their formation and their adjustment, and then you call the timeout and you go back over and talk about it. Now you know what they want to do.
We've seen quarterback runs down here. A handoff to Smith for a touchdown. The touchdown pass in the last possession. It's tough to know at this point sort of what to expect. As you see, the number 2 team in a bit of trouble here so far. First time in a long time that the 3 top-ranked teams all face ranked opponents. The Chick-fil-A rankings showing you what a monster schedule it is.
And all 3 on the road. I mean, Alabama and Oxford, and obviously Florida State here, and Ohio State and Norman. So you go back to this, you still, if you're Florida State, still have the 2 timeouts. You wonder if they'll use another one here. When Louisville was out there, they had 3 receivers up to the top, and the Noles were playing man-to-man. They were locked up in man-to-man coverage. I still think you roll Jackson to the right with the run-throw option, and if all else fails, he can throw it away to stop the clock.
So Smith is the back. Can they score? Can the Noles stop him in the field of play? Jackson rolls out and just waltzes into the end zone. A hat trick of rushing touchdowns in the first half to go with a touchdown pass. And the Cardinals are rolling to halftime with a huge lead.
Yeah, I mean, you roll him to the right, and even if everybody's covered, the best option is him running the ball. And he knew when he turned that corner, there was nobody even close to stopping him. So there was no threat of getting stopped short and then the clock continuing.
You got to be pretty confident, though, in your quarterback and your running game to call that, don't you? Because if he did get stopped short, the field goal would have been a rush. Instead, Louisville tacks on another touchdown with 12 seconds to go before the break. And I know the Noles can come from behind, but this is a huge, huge hole to dig out of.
Yeah, let's take a look at today's good hands play, brought to you by Allstate. Hands, knees, whatever he might need there. James Quick makes the catch. Well, actually off the hand of McFadden between the knees of Quick and into the end zone. Talked before the play, you roll him right, Chris. The reason is really not that big of a threat is because with receivers going downfield, if one of them happens to be open, you can throw to them. If they're covered like they are here, there's nobody left here to take the biggest threat, which is the running quarterback. And that what he turned around, he was ready to throw. Once everybody was covered, he realized he's out of timeouts, had to be sure he could get to the end zone, and of course he was.
Deadly in the red zone. The guys in the red chrome helmets today have been in there 6 times, 5 touchdowns. They had a missed field goal when they were pushed back after the penalties. So Whitfield brings it out across the 25 and 6 seconds to go before halftime. And this is going to have to be another patented halftime speech, adjustments, and a comeback for the ages if the Noles are going to escape here with that number 2 ranking intact.
At the 27-yard line, Florida State takes over, 1st and 10.
They've done it before. It's in their culture to never quit and be resilient and play strong in the second half, but they've made things very, very difficult on themselves because it's so hard to stop the guys in red so far. You got to get a whole bunch of stops in the second half to create a comeback.
Yeah. And that's what they did that night against Ole Miss. They got a lot of the turnovers to change the complexion of the game. It's a different feel and a different atmosphere as well.
300.
In the first half and on their heels. That was the 2 things they needed to avoid if they wanted to try to slow down this Louisville offense.
They will get the ball to begin this 3rd quarter and see if they can begin a patented comeback, diving up to make the catch at the 17-yard line as Whitfield. So not very good field position for Francois. Pacific Life game summary takes a look at yet another fast start for this Louisville offense. 3 straight opening possessions this year, 3 straight touchdowns, off and running, as they say here.
Yeah, they did not wait around very long. It was 6 plays and a touchdown. Kind of set the tone for the entire first half. Look at Lamar Jackson throwing the football, elusive runner. The Noles are just, they're so afraid to misstep, and he's just eluding them, running right through them, and done so much to open up their passing game.
Cook, not much. Still fighting, breaking tackles. Dalvin Cook running hard, and that's going to be an emphasis for this defense, which did not tackle well in the second half of their losses the last couple of years. Sam?
Yeah, Chris, as you know, Bobby Petrino been in this position before. I talked to him about his concerns coming out of the half, and he said, I just wanted my team to feel like it's 0-0, doesn't want them looking at the score. So I asked him how it's going to affect play calling to be up with this kind of lead, 25 points, and he said, we have to stay aggressive, not going to get conservative, at least for now, guys. We'll see if that changes as things go on.
It's interesting to hear that.
It is an interesting approach with the background of having the lead on the Noles the last 2 years. They played them in the second half, the big lead 2 years ago in 14 right here in this stadium. And the message he gave Sam and you, myself, and our crew in the meeting, because we brought up, what if you were up at half? What do you do? And he said, you know, just like he told Sam, we're going to keep being aggressive. You're up by 25. You wonder, if you turn the ball over by being aggressive, if that could end up being something that could get Florida State back in the game.
And Shaq Wiggins, their top cover corner, limping heavily. So the very first play of the half, he's out. And that could be a factor.
This is a big drive to start this second half. If Florida State has any interest at all in getting back into this game, they need points on this drive.
And that's been the comeback MO. Start quickly right out of halftime. Francois flushed, rolls, and just has to throw it away. The pass rush from the very first possession has been effective for the Cardinals today.
That and just being dialed in. Jimbo Fisher trying to flood it, the zone to the right, and there's just nobody open. Everybody covered. They rushed 4, dropped 7 back in coverage, took away the underneath routes. Francois, all he could do was just throw it away before he got sacked.
This crucial possession, Kirk, right away. They need 5 on third down. 2:06 in the first half on third down.
Right here's where the pressure can come from in Devontae Fields.
Fields tracks him down, doesn't get near the quarterback, came out of his hand funny, and James Hearns, the pass rusher who dropped into coverage, should have had a pick.
Yeah, and I think the linebacker Stacy Thomas, 32, watch him right here. I think he might have gotten a hand on the ball when he came back right there. He did. His left hand deflected that football, jumps up right in time, yep, knocks the ball away, and well, that would have been a heck of an interception by the outside linebacker James Hearns, but a great play by the Stacy Thomas there in the middle to get a hand on the ball.
Hearns, the Tallahassee native, had an early sack, almost a pick there, and the Noles go 3 and out on that crucial possession. Tyler gets a good boot away with the wind at his back and chases Alexander back deep, but he's got some running room. Look out into the secondary, off and running, and Louisville with a special teams touchdown pads the lead. Jaire Alexander, 69 yards. And this stadium is unhinged now. The sophomore for Charlotte joins the party. In Louisville, a PAT away from a 32-point lead. Only tackle he had to break was the punter.
Chris,
Thursday night, all of a sudden, the hype for the playoff will begin to mount in Louisville with this performance today, getting everybody's attention if you didn't already pay attention to Cardinals. Whitfield from the 10, knocked down to the 30. And let's go to Cassidy Hubbard with an update. Thank you, Cassidy. Well, Kirk, I got a stat for you here going back a dozen years. Teams that were down 25 or more at halftime. They won 4 times. They lost 827. Alamo Bowl, TCU did come from behind. So just to make it a little extra tough, the Noles have given up that punt return for a touchdown. So you're saying there's a chance.
Well, there's 4 wins out there, right? And if you watch the Alamo Bowl, it was one of those games where you can't believe that that just happened. And if the Noles were able to come back from 32, they would be a similar feeling.
Touchdown by Alexander was the first punt return for a touchdown by Louisville since 2010. And Doug Beaumont did it against UConn. Stewart on the kickoff coverage team was attended to, but the good news is that he's up and walking off. All right, Kirk, does the mindset change now for Fisher and Florida State? Do you have to maybe strike downfield with much more urgency?
No, I don't think you can do that, but I think the urgency comes from being able to try to pick up first downs and being able to get the ball snapped. That's where the urgency is. I mean, as a competitor, as an athlete, even though you're down by 32 in your brain, as an 18 to 22-year-old, you're still thinking we can win this game. You have to think that way, but you can't just start throwing the ball 40 yards downfield. But you do need urgency and how quickly you get the snaps off.
Cook puts it back, hit hard after about a 4-yard gain there. Harvey Clemens, rangy safety who can hit, does so there.
Georgia transfer. He is rangy, tall, athletic, and explosive, as you see right there. Boy, that is textbook tackle there by the safety. And they've been hearing about it all week. Even with the lead, their coach told Sam it's 0-0 at halftime. Do not let up.
Play action, Francois rolling. Looks far side. It's incomplete. Myquan Murray was pretty well covered. It's going to be third down. Louisville's offense obviously is the headline so far, Kirk, with those 375 yards in the first half. But the defense only allowed the Noles 150. They've limited Dalvin Cook, and they have frustrated Francois, who's 5 of 12 for only 70 yards passing.
Yep. Other than Patrick, who got out on a pretty good run, everything else they've done a great job of bottling up the running game and putting it all on the shoulders of Francois. And how about the coverage? There have been many times Francois holding on to the football because of the great coverage downfield, and they've ended up having some sacks because of that.
Good point. Good coverage, good pass rush.
Good combination.
Tough to move. From the pocket, Francois now escapes, scrambling, will not get first down yardage. He'll be hit 4 yards short. Alexander, who brought the punt back there in the stop.
You heard Jimbo Fisher say to Sam Ponder walking off, his defense has to do a better job of leveraging the football on defense against Lamar Jackson. That's exactly what Louisville does when Deondre Francois takes off on a scramble. There's 3 different jerseys right there and nowhere for him to try to make a move and get around one defender. There's just too many defenders there.
And Todd Grantham's defense, the veteran coordinator who was at Georgia, 4 different NFL teams. Back here at Louisville for a 3rd year. Terrific performance by that group so far, forcing the Noles to 2 3-and-outs to begin the second half. Take a look at today's Spotlight, brought to you by the U.S. Navy. Gee, I wonder who. Maybe we'll go with the quarterback for Louisville. Good choice.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call. And we wondered, okay, Charlotte. All right, that's Charlotte. Okay, we went to Syracuse and could have had over 1,000 yards of offense as a team. And what will he do against Florida State? And the athletic ability of the Noles. And the combination of Bobby Petrino's sophisticated offense and Lamar Jackson's ability to run and throw has been too much for the Noles.
This is Smith, short carry. They had 11 drops as a team. Noles said they got the ball. No fumble. And it's ruled down. Marshall grabbed by Jimbo Fisher right there. Turnover desperately needed. That would be the one thing that you think this group out here could do to shift momentum.
He's trying to make sure that Trey Marshall, who's one of the leaders of that defense, especially with Derwin James down, he was yelling at an official about the fumble potential. He just doesn't want it to be too crazy. They're ripping that ball away, and that's why Marshall was trying to state his case to the official.
Smith knocked down. The floor of progress had been stopped, and now a strike. Quick, off and running. Catch made out near midfield, and Petrino does continue to be aggressive, even up 32.
Watch this look. Watch the defense slide out here, and look at the middle of the field. Linebackers lose quick completely, and Lamar Jackson continues to show tremendous poise, just sitting in there waiting for the open man to reveal himself, and that time it's James Quick between the 2 backers.
Jackson keeps it. Nifty fake. Walker tracks him down, and it's a stop right near the line of scrimmage for the sack leader.
It's a heck of an accomplishment for DeMarcus Walker at 6'3", 280. And we thought he could have a big impact on this game, but it's one thing to get in there, but now you're in there and you got to be careful to break down at 280 and try to bring him down. So that is actually a really good play.
Second down, keeper. Again, it's Walker on the edge, staying at home and making a tackle. So it'll be 3rd and long. Walker likes to use the motto Mamba mode. He went into Mamba mode against the Rebels with those 4.5 sacks in that game.
He took that second half over with his pressure that night on Chad Kelly. Now they've got Jackson in this offense to 3rd down.
3 receivers. Bonifant in the slot to the left. Plenty of play clock to work with as Petrino makes his adjustments. Smith shifts to the right of the quarterback. Jackson in the pocket, delivers low and try to get it to Bonifant. Incomplete. Lewis in coverage. And it's 4th down. A rare stop for the Noles defense. That ends his streak of 8 straight pass completions for Jackson. He's 12 of 18. High punt. Big one up into the breeze, and a fair catch made by Wilson at the 10-yard line. So the Noles with a whole lot of green in front.
I saw him on film. He wanted to commit. Too good to be true. Couldn't pass him up.
Francois bottled up. Not much there. Devontae Fields in on the stop. Jackson committed to Louisville early. When Jim McElwain got to Florida, they made a big push, and it came right down to signing day. Very close call. The Cardinals were afraid they might get him flipped at the last minute, but he held true.
Said it was one of those deals where it's not just for show. They go to the table with a few hats. You know, even the coaches are holding their breath when they pull those hats out.
He brought a Gators backpack.
He was walking around all day with a Gators backpack. It was like a head fake.
2nd and 10. Francois pressured and chased again. Escapes. A flag comes in as he's dropped at the 15. Stacy Thomas, the linebacker, pressured. Cardinals are pointing at that Noles offensive line, and it is holding.
Holding. Offense on 7-7. Has an distance to the goal. 2nd down.
Chris, middle linebacker Stacy Thomas blitzes up the middle. Watch the effort by Dalvin Cook here. It's kind of an Olay effort. Misses him completely. It's everything connected. It's pass protection. It's the offensive line. It's the running backs, receivers, quarterback. It's not one area. It could be one player, and if all 11 in football aren't pulling together, the quarterback has to run for his life.
2nd and 15 from his end zone. Francois throws a low ball, incomplete. Auden Tate could not come up with it. 3rd and long. It's starting to get a different level of urgency. We've seen this team escape plenty of times, Kirk, but it's midway 3rd. They're down 32.
And they're on their own 5.
Yep.
And it's 3rd and 15.
It wasn't already urgent. It's getting more urgent.
And Louisville will be coming after Francois here. Hearns 99 and Fields 92.
Closed end of the stadium, the loudest place to be. The fans banging on their drums over there to the right of the quarterback, who escapes again. Francois delivers underneath. Cook's got it, but he is surrounded by Cardinals and dropped at the 15. It'll be 4th down. Kelsey and Cannon combining. Here comes another punt.
This is a complete effort by Louisville. I mean, in every aspect of the game, the offense has been amazing. The defense, you talked about it in the last
impressed me the most.
Has been incredible.
Yeah.
Special teams have been buttoned up. I mean, this team is really well prepared and putting it on display right now. This entire football game up to this point.
3 3 announced for the Noles in the second half. This is statistical dominance of the number 2 team. 400 total yards to 161. Tyler, a little bit more air in this kick and tougher for Alexander to return. It bounces over his head and will roll dead at the 35-yard line.
Short pass and guys that can go downfield and make plays on those longer throws.
Hand off on the end around. This is Samuel, and the quick little slot receiver makes a nice first down game. Samantha?
Interesting moment on the FSU bench. Jimbo Fisher just sent away all the documentary cameras, grabbed his guys in close. I couldn't make out everything, but he was kind of sensing the same thing I'm sensing. No more juice on this sideline. One thing I did hear him say was, who are you going to be right now? Guys, we saw the momentum shift in that Ole Miss game, and he's looking for a big shift now, and it's getting late.
Sam Showtime is following the Noles an all-access series this year. Radcliffe breaking some tackles, banging across midfield. Walker stopped him. Could be an interesting episode in that series. Noles think they have the football. They're lobbying for a fumble call. He get it.
Yeah, he was down, and he is having a heck of a game himself. Keep talking about Brandon Radcliffe. How about the leg drive there, pulling out arm tackles? He is a physical, low center gravity type of back. 10 carries now, 88 yards on the game. Pretty good average when you're averaging almost 9 yards a carry against this Noles defense.
Cardinals figure to have 2 different 100-yard rushers today. Jackson's got 97 on the ground on 15 carries. Quarterback in the pocket. Delivers over the middle. High throw caught by Nicotini. A flag is down. They move it inside the 30, but the flag was down near the O-line pit.
I think it might be a hands in the face on Florida State. Derek Nottie got his hands up into the offensive lineman there.
Personal foul. Continuous hands to the face. Number 91 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Dave Kataya, rules expert. We're seeing a lot of calls on this penalty so far this season, Dave. A point of emphasis?
It always has been because it's contact with the helmet, but what we're looking for is continuous contact or delivering a blow. Continuous contact was there.
He's just driving him back into the backfield.
Exactly.
Now you look at this. It's the 15 yards on the back end of it.
The play made it to the 28. They tack on the 15, and the Cardinals inside the Noles 15. This is fitting to get real ugly. What will Jackson do next? I can't wait to see. He's done everything, throwing and running. That time he hands it off, and Radcliffe, long way around the right end, gets down inside the 5. It'll be first and goal.
Well, they just cannot set the edge to this defense. This time Pugh, 16, he's been set the edge, get upfield to prevent Radcliffe from being able to bounce that ball to the outside. Finally, the secondary gets involved. Lewis gets involved, but not until it's another first down. Florida State the entire afternoon against this run, not doing a good job of setting the edge and letting the rest of the pursuit of that defense get there.
On first and goal, Jackson keeps it. He is swung down short of the goal line by Walker. They've been extremely productive in the red zone today. 6 red zone touchdowns, or 5 out of 6, I should say, on trips.
With his threat of running the ball, that takes advantage of that and puts so much on a defense to have to defend. Here comes a late Florida State defender running onto the field.
And they hand it to Smith, who runs the other way and just waltzes in for another easy touchdown. Louisville making a resounding statement to the nation, and the Noles are being embarrassed.
I can't remember a Florida State team looking like this, not only just getting beaten down 49-10 with a whole quarter to go, but the attitude, the energy. It reminds me of Marcus Mariota in Oregon in the Rose Bowl. That kind of feel in the second half and the way that game got out of hand. But it's one thing to lose. It's another thing to just not be sound and not get lined up and not make plays.
And you think the Clemson Tigers are paying close attention to what's going on here. Whitfield inside the 5. Hit hard, knocked down short of the 20.
Wow, what a big hit there.
Today's game-changing moment brought to you by Benjamin Moore.
Yeah, you look at this, it was a low punt, some great blocks, and a huge return by Alexander. But with that, not much of a hang time. It was under 4 seconds in the middle of the field, made it much easier on him to be able to return it. But he definitely picked up a couple good blocks there to spring him loose.
Since the Noles drew within 4 in that touchdown pass to Tate, a 35-zip run by Louisville. Francois on first down looks over the middle and has a man wide open. This is Rudolph trying to shake free, gets to the 40. Finally a first down that had 3 and outs and 19 yards of offense after halftime.
And finally time to throw the football in a window, a passing lane for Francois. Maybe his first of the game, where he got back, could set his feet, look into the middle of that defense, and Rudolph came across the middle. First time the entire game he's had a chance to do that.
Only their second big pass play of the game. They got more yards there than they had in the entire quarter to that point. Cardinals pressure off the edge, incomplete, trying to get the ball to Wilson. He was hammered hard by Cannon, the safety who came on the blitz.
Yeah, Cannon had one of those big blocks on the punt. He's he's a little hesitant here. He looks at Cook and then decides to come. Nobody picks him up. Francois doesn't feel him. They are not letting up. It's not, hey, let's go into prevent mode. Let's not give up the big play. It's no. Let's keep attacking. Let's keep going after Francois.
You're right. They're attacking both offensively and defensively despite the lead.
Message loud and clear from Bobby Petrino.
Like it's 0-0?
Yep.
Indeed. Francois lofts it down the field. Rudolph got away and was defended by Alexander. Couldn't stay with him, but the ball just overthrown.
You touched on something about the folks in Clemson seeing this score, maybe watching this game. And we've talked the first 2 weeks. A lot of us have been scratching our head wondering what's going on with Clemson. We keep using the term sleepwalking, maybe trying to press, maybe trying to live up to such unrealistic expectations. If they needed a wake-up call, all they got to do is watch this film to get ready for October, or what is it, October 1st
down in Death Valley.
Hope we're there courtside. That'd be a fun one.
Last 2 years, the Tigers have won, but it's been close by 6 and by 3. Pressure again up the middle. Francois hammered and dropped for a huge loss. Harvey Clemens that time joining the fun.
We talked about it, a mentality, Chris. How about this for a mentality on third down? Double blitz, and not only that, the man who ends up coming clean is the free safety, Harvey Clemens. Great job. They bring one more than the line can handle in protection. Roll the dice, and it pays off for this Louisville defense again, and Todd Grantham.
4 sacks of Francois as the conversation continues. This is a rough first road start for Francois. He's going to have a terrific career. We expect him to bounce back from this, but this is a hard lesson learned here in Louisville today. Alexander trying to add to it. He's loose again. A foot race. Just brought down a touchdown-saving tackle. Jaire Jackson on the coverage team presented a second punt return for a touchdown.
He does a good job. It'll be very close here. There's 5 guys right there that are out of the play. Does he step out right there? Looked like he stayed in, and now he's got a chance to break it loose. This punt return team right now, a real weapon for Louisville. But Florida State, 5 guys downfield, and none of them close to being able to make a play. Oh, man, he's down.
Alexander is down. Let's take another look at what you mentioned on the sideline. They're tight roping down the sideline.
Oh, he's in.
He stayed in.
Yep.
That was a 61-yard return. Earlier took one to the house, something that hadn't happened here in 5 years. Almost a second one. To see what the injury is. He may just be tired from running
down
the coverage team.
It could be.
He might have just landed on the football. Let's check in with Cassidy Hubbard. All right, Cassidy, thank you.
Alexander jogging off the field, which was great to see. Like you said, he just maybe had the wind knocked out of him.
And the Cardinals again set up in the red zone. Jackson throws a fade and got a little greedy there. It's picked off by Tavares McFadden. First turnover for the Cardinals, and they try to get it to the receiver there, but it was well covered.
Throws it to the inside. Throws it to the inside. And I'm going to tell you, McFadden has made some mistakes, but he also does a great job of locating the football on the deep ball. I remember that against Ole Miss, and I've seen it again today. And when he's in phase, stride for stride, he does a good job of reading the receiver's eyes and hands. And when he's going to go for the ball, he gets his head turned and locates the football. But that was the first poor throw of the day for number 8 there, Lamar Jackson.
His second pick on the season. Cook just has not been able to get loose. It continues to be a pretty frustrating start to the season for Dalvin Cook. Dropped the ball when he would have had a touchdown against Ole Miss.
And it also continues to be a frustrating day and season for the offensive line. I mean, you're not getting any push.
Yeah, hand in hand, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Dalvin Cook's one of the best backs in the country, and this shows you if you don't have an offensive line creating a crease or giving you a chance, you're not going to go anywhere. These guys are getting whipped up front by Louisville.
Lots of time this time for Francois. Looks down the field for Rudolph, who comes back. It's broken up. That's underthrown. And flags come in. Ronald Walker was trying to make up ground, but did bump the receiver.
Underthrows this, and it was not intentionally underthrown at all. He just didn't get enough on the ball.
Pass interference. Offense number 15.
He said 15.
Yeah,
15 was the receiver.
Yeah, this is Ronald Walker, who
misspoke.
By the way, in for Alexander, who went out after the punt return. It's the right call. He's trying to work his way back to the ball, and Walker never saw the ball. He definitely interfered with him there. But Chris, Francois, plenty of time. Just he caught a break there with the call. He just underthrew that.
Chased again. Dropped again. Jonathan Greenard in on the axe. It's a field day for all these Louisville pass rushers.
Again, it's the right tackle, Rick Leonard. Watch him off to the right here, and watch Cook try to come over to try to help. Watch the right tackle. He sets up to the inside, and he doesn't have any chance at all against that speed coming from the outside from Greenard.
Watching tape, we were wondering, how would the Louisville offensive line hold up against the Noles front? It's been the opposite problem today. Florida State's offensive line badly exposed here. Greenard again in on the stop.
Remember we talked about holding the edge? Holding the edge. This is how you hold the edge and let your rest of your defense be able to get there and rally. When you hold the edge to the outside like that, the rest of the defense can come in and make a play. It's a great job there of not letting Cook get to the outside again by Greenard.
Lee Corso, by the way, of course, who was a star quarterback, the Sunshine Scooter at Florida State. He's on the Noles sideline, but he picked Louisville, the school that first gave him a chance to be a head coach after he was an assistant. So he put on the Cardinal head on game day. This place went crazy. He said it was a tough pick, but he's over on the Noles sideline after making that pick. And again, hands on hips, like he's coaching the game.
Like he's coaching. Mixed emotions.
Yeah.
For the Sunshine Scooter.
You can almost see that in his face.
He told me in our meetings, this has been a tough one for him because obviously loves Florida State, playing there and coached there, and being a head coach here at Louisville.
Look at the jet black hair back in the day.
Jet black and the long sideburns. He had some great teams here, some great defenses. Tommy Jackson, one of the great players to ever play for Louisville, was recruited by Lee Corso and coached by Lee Corso. They led the nation in scoring defense in 1972.
Guys, you're talking about Corso on the sideline, and yeah, he's been over on the Florida State sideline a little bit, but you know how he is. He's been running the entire perimeter. I can't keep up with the man.
I'm telling you, Sam,
I really mean that.
No, he should have entered a speed walking contest years ago. He would beat anybody in that.
Some great names in that old Corso team: Elmer Lee, Elijah Craig, Evan Williams, Basil Hayden. Big names in Kentucky history.
Yeah.
Those are Bourbons, by the way, not ex-Corso players. If you were wondering. Yeah.
I was about to say, that's next level there.
I'm starting to get thirsty here with a 39-point game in the third quarter.
Is Pappy on there too? Jimmy
He's
Pappy.
team captain. Okay, enough inside. Cook, a short gain on third and really long. Drew Bailey on the stop. But this Louisville defense starting to flex a little bit. They feel, I think, Kirk, that they're making a very individual statement. Jackson gets all the hype, high-scoring offense. We knew that coming in, but this performance by this group today ought to wake up a lot of people about how good they are on that side of the ball.
Without a doubt. And they have played, we keep talking about it because they keep playing so well. But I walk away from this just as impressed with the defense as I am with Lamar Jackson in the offense.
Alexander, who's had the 2 long punt returns, not back there. Reggie Bonifant is a high snap grabbed by Tyler. And a fair catch made by Bonifant inside to the 30-yard line on the final play of the third quarter. Instead of staging at a huge win over Ole Miss in the opener, Louisville figures to vault right up in the conversation of the top teams in the country after this performance here. Radcliffe, the starter, still in, and he still runs hard. And here comes a flag on the tackle.
Yeah, horse collar.
Matthew Thomas was there.
I think you throw away the preseason rankings. You watch these teams play. And how do you not watch this team and think?
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense, first down.
Well, Kirk, you get the opener against Charlotte, which is technically an FBS team, but early in the program, one of the weakest FBS teams you could imagine.
Walk.
Syracuse on the road, blowout. This was going to be the big test, and they are past it with
49-10. I'm just saying there's a lot of big games today, but if you're going to start from the beginning, forget about preseason rankings and just watch all these teams play. This team today, in the first 2 weeks, they look as good as anybody in the country.
We went from 19 preseason down to 10 coming in, and obviously will vault a lot higher. Jackson, look out! Makes a cut. Why not spin in for another touchdown? Unbelievable. He has seized this national stage and made a strong early Heisman statement.
You know how everybody has a kind of a Heisman play that you see the highlights over and over and over again?
They sense it, I think, right there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
What an exclamation point for him today. And against the Knowles defense, this isn't Syracuse. That's Florida State's defense. He just walked right through.
47-yard scamper for the quarterback. He's now run for 4, thrown for 1. Another monster total offense game. 5 straight games like this.
No, not at all.
Another look at the touchdown.
Yeah, this is something he does so often. You're going to have motion here. He's going to ride this, and he's actually reading the flow of the defense right here. Watch how they flow. He just kind of senses this and feels that they're staying with the back, both these defenders, so then it's going to create an opening. Watch the offensive line, the effort to get down and take those linebackers out. As I said earlier, if you take the linebackers away on this play and you get him up against the secondary, it's a mismatch. There are very few people, if anybody, it would be interesting to see as the season goes on, that can tackle him in the open field.
Already his 8th career 100-yard game. It's almost every single start of his career. Jaquez Patrick in for Cook. Use it testing the right side and gain that to the 35-yard line. And back to Cassidy. A little look ahead of the Michigan State game, perhaps Wisconsin could be very costly.
Yeah.
Patrick again. As the Noles just kind of keep it on the ground here early fourth quarter, down 46.
I think potentially could get chippy here in this fourth quarter. Be very smart for Louisville to try to be above it. You know, if it goes that route, just keep playing the way they have the last three quarters, which is hard-nosed football, but not making mental mistakes, not being potentially pulled in that direction. Right now, Florida State is a frustrated football team, a defeated football team.
And they'll take a timeout. This year off the sidelines before this 2nd and 7 play.
I love coming down here.
Covered a bunch. Never been as a fan.
You got to come. Next year, you're in.
Francois intercepted, thrown right into the hands, and Chucky Williams down inside the 10 as the frustration continues. Quarterback threw it right to him. Williams is down at the 5 after the return. Cardinals threatening to make it even uglier.
Boy, what an amazing job here by Chucky Williams. He's adjusting to the motion. He just reads the quarterback's eyes. Sits there, he's matched up man for man. Look at the break on the ball, and Francois was expecting Izzo to continue to the outside, and he just kind of settled. He turned and anticipated the ball on his outside shoulder, and Francois threw it like he was going to cut to the outside. And because of Williams' ability to see the ball being thrown and break on the ball, just an easy interception.
The Trojans last year twice, especially in that Pac-12 championship game. Can he do it again? Cardinals in business at the 10-yard line after the interception by Chucky Williams. It was helped off. Looked to be a problem in his left shoulder area. He's being examined on the sidelines. But that pick sets up the Cardinals here and a chance to get over 60 points. And Florida State has never given up 60+ in school history. FYI. There's a lot of time to go. It's Radcliffe in the I formation. He's got it. Straight ahead. Moving the pile. No signal. Yes, touchdown now. Up huge against a defensive line that has surrendered. Louisville again just wanted it more.
Boy, Brandon Radcliffe is such a great compliment to Lamar Jackson with his power and how tough he is to bring down. The Noles have him at the 2-yard line, but he keeps his legs moving, and those linemen do a good job of pushing him across. He's easily into the end zone for a touchdown, and I cannot believe that Florida State has given up 63 points today.
Never have before, as we said. There's again a lot of time to go. And Cassidy Hubbard has a update from a much more dramatic and surprising game. Pay attention to this one, Cassidy. Bison only a 2-touchdown underdog there, but the Bison flexing on an FBS team, beating the defending Western Division champions in the Big Ten.
6 straight now over the FBS, like she said, and they don't surprise teams.
No.
Iowa knew what was coming to Kinnick Stadium. That was not a shock at all, because they compete with these teams, and well, that is a huge win and a disappointing loss for the Big Ten and for Iowa.
If you wondered, okay, they've had a very solid program, but you lose Carson Wentz, the exceptional quarterback, moves to the NFL. How would they be the year after? Pretty darn good.
They're a machine. They really are. They do such a good job there. Remember, we've been there a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
College
Now
game day.
you got to go back now.
We got to go. We got to go back. It's a home away from home.
Boy, this is a sweet party for all the folks in red here. Quarterback comparison, our Pacific Life game summary. Two explosive, talented quarterbacks coming in, but two incredibly different days. Jackson completed 13 of 20. The rush yards 146, responsible for 5 touchdowns, 4 of those on the ground.
And what doesn't show up there in the stats is the support that Lamar Jackson had around him. As I said, from the running back, the line, the receivers, and what Deondre Francois had around him. Lack thereof from the line and from his group.
Francois pulled, and now J.J. Cosentino, the sophomore, not Sean McGuire, the veteran who's healthy, coming in. He was in mop-up duty a week ago, which raised some eyebrows. We were told that McGuire, off that foot injury in camp, was good to go, but it's Cosentino who gets the mop-ups.
Yeah, maybe because the score is so far. I feel like when you watch games in September, whether you're winning 63-10 or you're losing 63-10, you can see a lot about a team's character and their heart. And Louisville, you would think, would just let up. This layoff, relax, you're blowing them out. They're playing harder right now than they've played all game.
Cosentino loses the ball. Cardinals pounce on it, and now they're going to rule incomplete. Kelsey was there in a pressure. Louisville still thinks they got the ball. Incomplete was the signal. See if his arm was coming forward.
Well, he threw it with the left hand, almost like a pitch. I mean,
unorthodox pass to say the least,
yeah.
But it was the arm moving
that's
forward.
A two-handed. That's out of the movie Hoosiers with Gene Hackman. Flip it, snap it. Jimmy Chitwood out here.
Desperate times, desperate measures. 3rd and 11. And now Louisville's going to call a timeout on defense. Let's go down to Sam.
Yeah, guys, you were just talking about the fact that there's been no let up from this Louisville defensive coordinator Todd Grantham. The last few drives with this type of lead, I thought his head was going to explode. He was laying into his defense so much, yelling, "You are built to beat this team. You can be the most dominant team in college football." I was concerned for his health, to be honest. This late in the game, I've never seen anything like it.
But Sam, doesn't it remind you, you think about like a Nick Saban and how we kind of talk about how he coaches and his attitude when he has a lead. This team, and you were with us, we've talked to them, they were determined to play full game, and I don't think they're going to let up until this thing's over.
Grantham, a veteran, Kirk, but this is one of the youngest coaching staffs in the country. Average age 38.
Stands. Louisville in charge of the timeout, and that is their final challenge of the game.
Louisville used the timeout to get a challenge, but the call was upheld of incomplete pass. So it'll still be Florida State football, but it'll be 3rd down. 22 plays after halftime. This offense that's known for second half adjustments and furious comebacks, Kirk, 22 plays, 30 yards gained for Florida State. And Grantham is still breathing fire.
Yeah. The reason I say I like to watch these games in September and watch your attitude and watch how the team plays, because it tells you a lot about next week and the week after, and you're developing chemistry and character, Sam, on your team.
Yeah, what I noticed, though, that really stood out to me was not just Grantham. This defense was angry. I mean, I saw the offense kind of dancing around cheering. The defense just seemed ticked off, even late in this game. There's something to that.
They played like it all afternoon.
I love that.
Cosentino, looping throw down the sideline, and it's incomplete. Looking for Auden Tate, but Jaire Alexander is at a monster day as a punt returner on coverage there.
I love to hear that, a team that is up like that, and they're angry. They're still playing with a chip on their shoulder. That's something.
Starters are still out there, by the way.
But that's something you need to maintain in weeks where you're playing against, quote unquote, an inferior opponent. That tells you a lot about the heartbeat. And Lamar Jackson told us in our meetings, and also we heard from D'Angelo Brown, this team's different. We all love each other. There's nobody that's above the team, and when you have that truly to the core, you have something special.
Bonifant is the punt returner. It's a low kick, and he just stays away from it.
But
Kyle Bolin, the junior, who's been a starter each of the past couple of years at times, is a pro-style quarterback, different-looking offense. He's in for mop-up duties.
I just want to go back to Lamar Jackson and say that if you're going to defend Louisville, you got to be ready to defend still the Bobby Petrino sophisticated drop-back passing game that this kid can run, and also the quarterback run game, which usually when you're a defensive coordinator, that's a nightmare within itself. But to get ready for Bobby Petrino's passing attack and the quarterback run threat, which is, I'm talking 80 yards he can go on you. That's a lot for any defense to get ready for.
No doubt. Different guys getting touches here. Now Melvin Jones, a short gain. Well, Marshall is up next for Louisville. You might say that looks pretty easy on paper, but Petrino will have this team's attention because he'll recite some history. They've lost their last 4 head-to-head against Marshall going back to '87. That's the only game before what looms as a huge showdown in Death Valley, October 1st at Clemson.
And you know, you start looking ahead at some fun stuff. You know who the biggest fans of Louisville are? The Houston Cougars. If there's anybody out there late in the year that wants Louisville to keep looking like this and keep winning, it will be Houston. Houston beats Oklahoma at the beginning of the year. If they were able to keep running the table, at the end of the year, they get Louisville at home on November 17th. Just one to just kind of put away for later.
Yeah, the cross-division games for Louisville, pretty kind. Virginia and Duke. They have the 2 non-conference games. That's a tasty showdown there. Houston's a Thursday night game, a short week after a game against Wake Forest, and then the rival Kentucky at the end. Naquan Murray is the punt returner for the Noles, and he makes a fair catch at the 16-yard line. So the focus is going to begin to shift toward Jackson and how Clemson might slow him down, because as you said, look at the skill set.
And this is what we talked about in the open, the three or four things that he has. Patience, he showed that today. The accuracy when he's had a chance to throw the football, and how explosive is he in the open field. We've known about that from last year, but the areas that he's improved the most, the decision making, the patience in the pocket, and the accuracy throwing the football.
Kind of a quiet day passing, if you think about it. 13 completions, 216, all the fireworks coming on the ground. Patrick plowing across the 30 for a first down. Again, this is, I think, what grabs your attention, the way that he runs, how explosive he is, how sudden, how slippery he is. He just kind of slithers through. It's hard to get a square hit on him, isn't it?
It is. He's slippery, but also runs a 4.4. And we said 4.4, he kind of is like, yeah, almost like, I guess they're going to put me down as a 4.4, but almost indicating that he feels like he's faster than a 4.4. The way he's running away from guys every single week, I think he might be. But he is slippery in open field.
Patrick, again, a short gain. Yeah, he told us yesterday he's never faced a defense that he couldn't run away from. You say, okay, you expect that in Pop Warner ball, where he was a prodigy, an instant star. High school,
yes.
We get it. College, limited experience so far. This was going to be, you would think, the quickest, most athletic defense he's faced, and he ran right away from them too.
Yeah, and again, he's been running the football last year, especially late in the year and coming into this year. But to see how much he's improved as a passer has been tremendous.
Argentino chased on 2nd and 9, and he's going to be spun down for a short gain. Florida State, meanwhile, has USF. And that's a game where in Tampa they'll be all charged up, the Bulls will. And then they got Carolina at the Hurricanes, Clemson home, Gators at the end.
I mean, look at that. I mean, those are 5 more games where you're going to be challenged. Not to mention, what's the lingering effect of a loss like this? The humiliation, the embarrassment, national TV to get beaten so far 63-10. Who knows how that ends up.
Argentino, the flag comes in. The receiver was just grabbed on the way by. Figures to be defensive holding. That's a good question, Kirk.
Holding. Defense on 15. 2-yard penalty. First down.
It's a brand new experience. Yes, they lost the Rose Bowl to Oregon, but that was a playoff, and that was a while ago. It's a brand new experience for all of these guys to get humiliated like this. Most points ever given up in school history. Give up 7 rushing touchdowns. This would be, if it stands, the largest margin of defeat in Florida State history. Patrick, he's still running hard. He's had a good afternoon. One of the few bright spots. ESPN is proud to support college football's celebration of educators across the country through the Extra Yard for Teachers initiative created by the College Football Playoff Foundation. To learn more, visit cfpfoundation.org. And up inside to Ryan Green. And the backup tailback, the 4th stringer, gets a touch. Alexander dropped him. Some of the defensive starters for the Cardinals still out there.
Green comes in and shows a little bit of an attitude in the way he ran that football. Not seen. It's one thing that's been a little bit frustrating to me is who's the alpha on the Florida State football team. I think they have some on defense, especially DeMarcus Walker. Who, if I said to you, who's the leader of the offense, who would you say?
Green again in the open field and shoved out.
I mean, usually you have an offensive lineman, but it's hard for a receiver to be a leader. And Dalvin Cook is more of a leader by example.
Yeah.
But when things get down, you need somebody besides Jimbo Fisher to kind of be in the face of guys and challenge them. You know, Jameis Winston was so good at that. He even did it at halftime, and they all missed it.
He was exceptional. It's a lot to ask of a young quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you need someone else, a lineman, a tight end. I don't really see that right now on this team.
Green knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. And the leadership's going to be important. This is a quarterback that's just not used to losing, much less by 53. Run of success in high school. It's all pretty easy. You sit and you learn as an apprentice, come out, play very well in your hometown against Ole Miss, that magical second half comeback. But from the start today, frustrated, not well protected. Cosentino throwing for the end zone, a high throw. Tate goes up for it and makes a catch. His 2nd touchdown reception of the game. He went up over Alexander.
That's a heck of an effort there. And Jimbo Fisher told us this week that Tate, who had a great camp, is coming on to be that red zone threat. Hit a touchdown reception earlier in the game. How about the focus there? He got annihilated by D. Smith, but held on to the football. 6'5", he goes up, makes the play. But boy, the toughness there to hold on to that football, it's a heck of a reception.
They've been hoping that he'd break out. I'd be very surprised if Tate didn't have a fine sophomore season because of that skill set, strong hands, long arms, and that big body.
Well, that's tough to defend, even if Alexander knew where the ball was. Safety comes over, as I said, but
it's pylon cam.
It's a good look at it there.
So Tate, with 2 touchdown receptions, one of the very, very few bright spots. Here's the Noles try to avoid making this the worst margin of victory in school history and the worst margin of victory in college football history for a team ranked in the top 2. You got to go back to 1945. The Army shut out Notre Dame 48-0. It's the worst margin of victory for a team ranked 1 or 2. It's a long time. 49 unanswered point streak finally stopped by that touchdown. It's going to be an episode in the Showtime series to watch this week as they go behind the scenes of what is a stunning and humbling experience for this Florida State football program. kickoff return at the goal line and fighting out across the 16-yard line. The All-State bus rolling past the Cardinal Express here. Time now for your All-State street cred.
Yep, part of the season-long celebration. All-State and I are handing out street cred on Twitter each week, kind of highlighting the best of the best in college football. And all you have to do is use hashtag street cred on Twitter. Let me know who you think deserves the pick. And I know we got a lot of great games coming up later today. You think anybody's going to look any better than the Cardinals today? So we got to give it to Louisville.
Already, that's a rare noon window. You're just giving it to them.
I mean, although the Bison are out there, North Dakota State, we'll hold on, but still, I mean, Louisville, what a statement that they made today.
Malik Williams, Jr. gets a carry. We'll kick off week 2 Sunday on ESPN, 10 a.m. Eastern. NFL Insiders Sunday edition. All those fantasy tidbits and updates. 11 o'clock, the new Sunday NFL Countdown. Boomer joined by Trent Dilfer, Charles Woodson, Matt Hasselback, Randy Moss, right up to kickoff. Both streaming live on the Watch ESPN app. There's a Cardinals player down on the turn. It's Williams, looked at by the trainer. Kirk, this is a pretty big weekend here for sports in Louisville. Number 2 getting beat up at Soccer Stadium last night. Notre Dame came in here as the #1 ranked men's soccer team. Lost 1-0 to Louisville and a lob goal from deep. The field hockey team here was ranked number 6. They did lose the number 2 Duke, but that's not bad. Number 2 football team goes down to the Cardinals. #1 soccer team in 2 days.
Well, Tom Jurich, the athletic director at Louisville, does such a good job here. And the facilities, I mean, can you imagine the upgrade in facilities here in the last few years, what they've been able to do? It's like you just can't imagine how different it is from where it was a few years ago.
Well, Tom Jurich able to sign Bobby Petrino to a contract extension. Petrino obviously throughout his career has bounced around a lot. Here as an offense coordinator, left, came back as head coach, left to go to the Falcons. He says no more NFL for him, and he says really he feels at peace here. I mean, you never know, but he does feel like this is where he wants to finish his career, and it's going to be hard to pry him away at this point.
Well, he's doing obviously a great job. They're actually about to add another addition here to the stadium in the end zone.
They made improvements over the years here. They want to add to the 55,000 seats.
Yeah, and you know, it's always something you have to worry about when it comes to the weight room and the locker room, and just continue. You look around the ACC alone, Clemson's in the middle of building a beautiful facility, so they continue to grow. But they made a statement. They took advantage of an opportunity today, nationally televised game against Florida State at home. They've been close the last 2 years in the ACC against the Noles, lead in the second half. This year they were determined to play an entire game, and they sure did. To me, they not only won a game, they really put themselves in a position to set up some even bigger opportunities down the road.
On 3rd and 2, stopped short of the first down. Trey Smith, a lot of different guys getting carries. You know, Petrino has a very good ability for getting guys who've had problems, sometimes serious problems elsewhere, who've been labeled with negative labels by coaches, to come here and kind of seize this last opportunity. What do you say? It's like officer and a gentleman.
Yeah.
You have nowhere else to go.
Right.
Mayonnaise. You have to make the most of your chance here, whether it's junior college transfers from other schools, Fields, Harvey Clemens, guys like that. They come here and he's able to get the best out of them. And for some reason, Louisville's a program where they do tend to seize that opportunity and move on.
Yeah, they really have done a good job of bringing guys in and giving them that opportunity. And I think it's a pretty good message, though, if you tell a guy this is it. I mean, we're going to give you a chance, but if you don't take advantage of it, you're done. You know, so all these dreams that you've had, this is where you're going to have to try to make those dreams happen.
A wry smile. He didn't like the shank punt.
No.
Imperfection today.
Right.
How do you like USC versus Stanford tonight on ABC? Primetime game on the East Coast, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. A chance for the Trojans, after the beatdown we witnessed against Alabama, to reclaim some respect.
As the Bear says, the underdog has won 4 of the last 5 outright, and SC goes into that game as an underdog.
That's a strong lean by the Bear.
It is. I like Stanford and Christian McCaffrey. I think it'll be a very competitive game, but I think Stanford at home will win that game.
Rosentino, another downfield shot. And it's intended for Keith Gavin, a true freshman, incomplete.
The next challenge for Bobby Petrino, just watching him down there. Now this program, now it's going to go in the other direction. It's not how will they do against a team like Florida State. Now it's, oh, you guys, you're the best team in the country. The only game you have left, you just got to get ready for Clemson. Now how do they handle success? How do they handle people patting them on the back? How do they handle Lamar Jackson should win the Heisman? All that kind of talk on all the local shows, all the national shows.
Absolutely.
Now they got to be able to block out the noise and keep playing with the edge and a chip on the shoulder that they have. Can they do that? Will be a question.
Vickers allows for a first down.
Because a big part of their identity is playing nasty, is playing with a chip on their shoulder. And the second that they lose that, they become vulnerable. So he's going to do everything in his power, he and his staff, to try to get them to not listen. Don't listen to all the compliments.
Well, that's hard to do.
I know.
Social media. It's also hard to play nasty with an edge for 12 games, isn't it?
Sure
you have those games where you're flat.
Well, that's where Lamar Jackson, that could be an X factor for you. Those days where you are a little flat, he's still going to make plays.
Vickers breaking free for Florida State. They try to tack on a couple touchdowns to make it slightly more respectable. D. Smith forced him out. You know, mentioned the game at Marshall. Never easy to play there. You know, for Marshall, when they see this result, they're going to play like it's their Super Bowl.
Everybody is.
And they have beaten them, again, going back to the 80s. It doesn't necessarily apply to this one, but they have beaten them 4 times in a row. First and goal. And an easy touchdown for Vickers. As the backup's finally in there on defense for Louisville. A flag is down, so hold up.
Illegal formation. Offense, 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Take the touchdown off the board and back them up 5. There was no panic from Fisher at halftime. He made it seem like there was just a couple little things they had to clean up, but they came out and were unable to get things going. The 3-3 announced to begin the third quarter. The punt return, it snowballed even more after halftime in a hurry. Vickers this time dropped back at the 10-yard line. It'll be second and goal from there.
Yeah, Bobby Petrino clearly sending a message at halftime to come out at halftime ready to play. And they dominated the third quarter. They won it 14-0 already with that big lead.
This will be the first loss in the August or September game for the Noles after 18 in a row. You see Jurich, the athletic director, with a smiling Petrino. And back to 2011 since the Noles have lost a game this early. And they throw over the head of Gavin. Another flag is down. He was very cautious at halftime. George came in to say hello, and he's very aware.
An eligible receiver, number 88 offense, is downfield. 5-yard penalty, second down.
The Noles are going backwards after having the touchdown nullified. He came up here. He was not counting the victory. He said, look, we've been here before with these guys. Now he can smile.
Yeah, he can. But talked about the job he's done, Chris. Football and men's basketball get most of the attention. But you go down the line and look at their sports. You just showed men's soccer. You showed field hockey. Their baseball has become a powerhouse in college baseball. Top to bottom, Louisville's athletic department, they've really taken it to a different level under his guidance.
Zentino high throw for the end zone again, looking for Keith Gavin, again incomplete. Maybe third and goal.
What do you got tonight, Chris? You got Ohio State playing in a big game against Oklahoma.
I can't wait to get home, put the feet up. A rare ability to kind of watch all those games on a Saturday night. Bounce between Buckeyes, Sooners.
Ole Miss, Alabama. Who do you got?
You know I don't make picks.
Come on,
Alabama.
I got Alabama. Ohio State, Oklahoma.
I'll go Buckeyes narrow on the road.
I agree. They got to stop the running game of Samaje Perine.
Don't make me a picker. You're not going to do it.
We're doing a talk show, I thought. Open up the phone line, you said.
Way over the head.
Benny Ward's got the Irish tonight. Who do you have in the Notre Dame Michigan State game?
I'm going to go Irish to bounce back.
Irish back home? Okay. I like DeShone Kizer. I think that's a lower scoring game. But I think Michigan.
Buddy Mike Tirico calling that game.
Oh, yeah, that's
Exchange
right.
in Texas. He was doing his prep. I hope he gets a little closer one.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Did you in your wildest imagination,
no,
think this a 46-point game as Aguayo tries to chip into that lead here? This from 33 yards in the final minute. And he drives it through. Well, tonight, after the Texas-Cal game, which is intriguing, Sports Center at night with Lisa Kearney and John Anderson. All the highlights from this day. You're going to tune in to see a busy nighttime window, plus baseball, playoff races. Beloved Cubbies already clinched the division. World Cup of Hockey, which for hockey fans is a real showcase. Sports Center at night, also in the Watch ESPN app. And how will this young man handle it? You said, I think it's such an important question going forward. They'll do their best to keep him grounded, but it's so difficult in the modern era, a young guy, to not get caught up in it.
Seems like a humble guy to me, from being around him, from watching him at practice. I could not believe how hard he works at practice, because there's a lot of quarterback runs in their practices. He's ripping a 50-yard run full sprint the way he did through the Florida State defense, and then sprinting right back 50 yards the other way to call the next play. I mean, usually, okay, the second team goes. No, the first unit's still out there, and he's sprinting back and forth and back and forth. And they said because of how hard he practices, his teammates really love him and appreciate him. So I think he'll, between Bobby Petrino's style and his personality, I think he will stay grounded.
And if he does, Kirk, what's scary is that he's still a little raw in a lot of areas. Don't you think he can get much better in the passing game? He's gaining an understanding of the offense and the checkdowns and all those quarterback things week by week to go with the God-given ability.
Absolutely.
Not a finished product at all. Yeah.
Only going to get better. You think Bobby Petrino has a knee? Does he have the victory formation? Can he do that for us with 51 seconds left?
I think they've got this down. And it's Bowman who has the honors here. This time, no lead against the Noles slipping away.
Yeah.
They started fast and furious, built a huge lead, and then kept it rolling in a dominant third quarter. Took their foot off the gas a little bit, or they could have had even more than 531 yards total offense. But defensively keeping the Noles under 300 yards, limiting Dalvin Cook to 54 and Francois to 101 passing yards.
Great group effort. Lamar Jackson will get a lot of attention, but we talked, it was the offense, the group around Lamar Jackson, the defense, and the special teams. Team effort today. Bobby Petrino had them ready to go.
0-2 when they beat the Noles in overtime. They stormed the field, ripped down the goalposts. More restrained reaction today. This fan base no longer surprised by success.